Hey fam, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. I wanted to come on here real quick and share this video with you guys. So this content creator goes by heytonytv, very popular TikToker, very funny. He does random, skits and videos and stuff. And this particular one, oh my God, it related to me so quickly. I felt his pain. He basically does a skit where he's laying in his bed and he hears the maintenance people cutting the grass in the crack of dawn in the apartment complexes. Take a look.
Hey! Hey, why? Don't you see that bush over there by that window? Yeah. Make sure you get that bush. Hey, make sure you get the bush. About to get it right now. Oh, hell. Hey! Hey! Ain't nothing wrong with that bush. You just trimmed it last week. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, I know. I know damn well. Oh, you motherfucker!
Now, after I watched this video, I couldn't help but laugh because I said, this is so true. Depending on the neighborhood and depending where you stay, majority of the time, there are going to be some loud ass landscape workers working on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning if they really want to be bold and loud and obnoxious for no reason at all. I'm just like, you have the whole entire week to do landscaping at the apartments. You have Monday through Friday to get this job done, but yet you choose to disturb the poor tenants or the renters in the crack of dawn at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday with your leaf blower and your lawnmowers and stuff. Now, one thing I will say compared to being a renter or a tenant versus a homeowner, majority of the time you don't have to worry about that as a homeowner because they have routine maintenance scheduling if they, have it contracted in their home ownership. And plus, the downside of being a homeowner, you have to pay for that stuff out of pocket. It's not free. Unlike the renters like me, we have free maintenance on site. So it's nothing for them to come and do an after hours maintenance call because they're always on call. That's one thing I will say that I do appreciate about these apartments over here is that they're quiet, they're peaceful, and if you need something fixed, they are immediate. Like you can hop on the app right now and put in a work order for your faucet, your toilet, whatever, and they will come that same day and fix it. And if they can't fix the problem, you know what they do? They tell you that they're going to send you a contractor from an actual company that specializes in that problem, and then they'll fix it. And to be honest, I've only had to deal with maintenance here maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times. And it was for little stuff like my ice maker stopped working, or I had a pest control issue with gnats that time. Y'all remember when I had the gnats? They sent me a whole contractor to do pest control all over my apartment that same day. Well, actually, it took the contractor a week, but they still sent somebody to do it. And the only reason I knew that he came is because I saw him pop up on my doorbell camera. Because my doorbell camera is going to tell you the truth. Who comes by your apartment or whatever with the sensors and stuff. And outside of, pest control and a little bit of, routine maintenance, I never had any issues here. Never. I thank God I have a very caring apartment community that actually does stuff for the residents here. Other than that, I have no complaints. Like I said, it's very quiet, very peaceful here. I see people walking their babies and dogs day and night. It's very safe neighborhood. But back to the landscaping stuff, I'm going to tell you that landscaping stuff is no joke because say, for example, in an HOA community. Oh God, that's worse, because the HOA is like the mafia of housing. And the reason why I say that is because they literally control you. They control everything you do. This is why I would never live in an HOA housing community. One, they can tell you how to paint your house. Two, they can tell you when to cut your grass, when not to cut your grass, because you have no control. And three, if your grass is too high, God forbid, and it's a distraction to the neighborhood because it makes the neighborhood look a certain way, they can give you a citation. That's a fine. And that fine can be as big as, I would say, $100 to like maybe $300, depending on the severity of the fine. But this is a clear example of what to do and what not to do in the HOA community. But yeah, these landscaping people, they don't give a damn. They don't get paid enough to be quiet and be peaceful and not disturb the peace. They don't know what that means. Because I can tell you, even in my older neighborhoods, oh my God, when I lived in Texas, y'all, and I'm talking about the projects, like the east side, I heard them damn landscaper workers every 5 seconds on a Saturday morning. They would literally be by my window with a whole weed eater, just whacking away the grass at like 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. And I would literally have to tap on the window like, hey, get away from my window. And they'd be like, oh, sorry. Because majority of them were Hispanic. And they were essays, like true essays. And they had their cerveza on the back of their trucks. And they would just cut the grass whenever the fuck they wanted to cut the grass. But yeah, that right there pissed me off, because I'm just like, y'all have all week to cut grass. There's no excuse for this, like to disturb the peace like this. Like they would be yelling across the way, asking people if they finished with something or whatever, and you can hear them because they're just so loud. But yeah, man, I have stories for days. But I will tell you the biggest difference though between, certain neighborhoods. And I'm not trying to throw shade, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you live in the projects, you're going to have project landscapers. What does that mean? You either going to experience the hood niggas who don't come on time to cut the grass, and they come out real late at night, because I've seen that too. And they be smoking their tweeds while cutting the grass and doing whatever they want to do and playing music, and then they go home. Or you got Hector out there in the crack of dawn, literally cutting the grass, playing his music and drinking cerveza, beer. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it never failed to amaze me how the landscape workers don't have a legit schedule. If they could all just be on a routine maintenance schedule, like the nicer neighborhoods, then yeah, it would be more peaceful and more quiet. But when you live in the projects, you get project shit. When you live in the suburbs, you get suburb, activities. You get, the families walking their babies and their dogs, and in the mornings. You get the runners running the neighborhood. You might see somebody cutting grass, one person or two people cutting grass or whatever, but they're very respectful about it here. I will say that. Like, I've only seen like a leaf blower man, and I seen him in the parking garage after hours. It was like 5 o'clock in the evening when he was out there making noise. I've never, ever, and I mean ever, been disturbed out of my sleep since I've been here in Virginia from someone cutting the grass or somebody weed eating by my window. I thank God, because I'm on the first floor. The first floor is not what you want, depending on what side of the building you on. I'm over here by the pool. Now, there is some grass over here by this patio, but I've never seen maintenance touch that grass. And the only reason why is because the bushes, they're like flowers. They're like a whole bunch of flower shrubs. They're not going to cut on the flowers. Now, if these were not flowers and it was actually grass, then yeah, I would have heard them like every weekend cutting on that mess. But yeah, to my surprise, I've never been disturbed out of my sleep on a weekend from maintenance. Hallelujah. Or landscapers. The only time I've only seen them physically making noise in this building, it was throughout the daytime. I would say throughout working hours. When the leasing office would be working, that's like the only time I would legit see maintenance making actual noise when people are at work. I remember one time I came home, I seen someone messing with the elevator, but it was daylight. It was, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the evening. Or I saw people testing the fire alarms. And they will even email you here. One thing I do love about my apartment community, they will email you and let you know, hey, we have a routine maintenance schedule coming up. We're going down floor by floor. Fifth floor starts on this week and so forth. And if we do have some type of fire alarm testing, they'll let you know about that too. They'll tell you we're coming in your door at this time on this week. Da 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 da. We're just gonna not test your fire alarm and then leave you the hell alone. And that's just, a nicer way to do it, honestly. I mean, if you give your tenants or your renters the courtesy to let them know, hey, we're going to conduct some type of routine maintenance on a following day at this following time, then yeah, you're aware. You know when to prepare for them. But if you don't say anything to them and you just randomly knock on somebody's door without any type of announcement or warning, then you're just flat out rude. You don't give a damn about your renters or your tenants. You're not professional. I feel like when people actually give you the heads up and they tell you what they're gonna do, that's professionalism. But not everybody has that luxury, and this is why I pay for what I pay for. I pay about $1,400 a month. Do I like it? No. But $1,400 a month gets you routine maintenance, gets you after call maintenance outside of working hours. If you have an emergency, they will come here. Because I will tell you, the one scare that I had was when I thought my oven was on fire. I had to unplug my oven because the stovetop shut off by itself and it sparked. It scared me. And I said, ooh, shit, let me make sure there's no electrical fire going on. So after I unplugged it, I called the fire department this one time. I think I was cooking like Jamaican food or something. I can't remember, but I was on live when it happened. This was a few months back. And when the fire department came, they checked on it. They said they didn't see any signs of electrical fuse, being lit. So the stove wasn't on fire. They said everything was fine. They just told me to keep it unplugged for about a few hours and then plug it back up. Everything should be okay. Then maintenance actually showed up at the same time the fire department showed up, and he was sleepy. I felt bad for him. Like, he literally just woke up out of his sleep to check my oven. Like, that's how good the maintenance is here. And that man came to my door after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock midnight to check my oven. This is how you know you have reliable community. When you have stuff like that and they still come, yes, you have a very reliable apartment community. They actually care. But when you have a community where nobody answers the phone, nobody answers your emails, nobody picks up your work orders in a timely fashion, they don't give a damn about you. And that was my last apartment. Yeah, as nice as my last apartment was, I miss it so much. I had about an 800, 900 square foot apartment, one bedroom. I had a whole entire shower and I had a jacuzzi tub with the jets in it. And I was only paying $1,200 a month for that thing. And it was in the sticks. I was like in a little suburb called McKinney, Texas. And McKinney is north of Dallas. Not too far from Dallas. I'd say about a good 25, 30 minutes outside the city. And McKinney is where it's at. I'll tell anybody, you live out in McKinney or you live out in Allen, like the very nice areas, you're going to get some good quality apartments. The only problem with those apartments that I lived in was that maintenance was shitty. The maintenance there would come and do your work order, but they would take at least a cool 3 to 5 days before they fix anything in those apartments. And I think the only reason why they weren't so prompt when it comes to like your routine maintenance calls is because of the residents. I lived in a community of more than 600 residents. There was a lot of people on that property. So when I realized, okay, they do have a lot of residents here, I'm not tripping. They come when they come, whatever. As long as it gets fixed, I don't care. And then the other problem with that community, because it was such a large apartment community, they never answered the phone at the leasing office. They never answered my emails until a few days later. And I don't know if it was intentional or they just did not give a damn, because every time I needed something, I would have to keep constantly walking up to the leasing office to get my answers or to get a hold of somebody. And I was just like, I emailed your office like 2 times. What the hell? Here is much smaller. I like this community better because there's not as many residents here. I would say on average, there might be about maybe close to 100 to 200 apartment units in this building, but there's not that many people here. We have 5 floors in total. I would say, judging from the traffic of the people, we might have close to 100, maybe 150 residents in this building. It's not that many, and it's controllable. Unlike, again, my last apartment, it was uncontrollable. There were too many residents. They never kept the grounds clean. There was dog poop everywhere. It was horrible. As cheap as it was it worth it? No. Because even though I lived in a nice neighborhood, I was far as shit from everything. If I wanted to go party somewhere in the city limits, it was a drive. I would have to take an Uber or something. If I wanted to go to the grocery store. Now, the grocery store was around the corner. Thank God for H-E-B grocery store. I miss H-E-B so much. H-E-B was around the corner. Walmart was around the corner. CVS was around the corner. Like, we had livable things to do around the corner within like a 5-minute radius. That was like the only pro to living in that area of McKinney where I lived in. Outside of the close grocery stores and the close restaurants, the apartment community itself was a piece of shit. But anywho, that's all. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and share your thoughts below. Have you ever experienced or encountered some type of maintenance activity or landscaper activity where they disturbed you out your sleep? Tell me. I want to know. But y'all take care. Peace.